switch, you got the killer itch written on your bedroom walls. Break back, it's like a heart attack, you're feeling a forever fall. Look at you now, look at you now. Clicks shake, you're spinning wide awake, your colors are a fever dream. Sidestep before you pay the debt, you're staring at a static screen. Look at you now, look at you now. Oh. No matter where you go, oh, I will follow. We know your reds turn blue. Ooh, right beside you.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Tanya here with PopCulture.com, and today we have one of my personal faves with us, joining for Pop Culture at Home, singer, songwriter, Season 7 American Idol winner, David Cook. David, thank you so much for being with us today. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
So we're really excited about your new song and your new music. The thing is also we've been, sitting at home in quarantine. How have you been dealing and, coping in these couple months we've had?
The tough part has been having to cancel and reschedule shows and all that stuff just because I hate doing that anyway. But I think past that, it's just been trying to, find the positives in it, to get an opportunity to spend more time at home with my wife and our dogs and write more. I've been able to, with time feeling like it's slowed down a little bit, it's made for more time for creative endeavors, and then we have a home improvement list that's 8 years long. So it's been not the worst thing in the world.
Mm-hmm. And you talk about creative endeavors, and you have made this song "Red Turns Blue," which is phenomenal.
Thank
and
you.
It's such a personal and intimate song about your own struggles with anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
So, what made you want to write that now, and why release that and share it with the world right today? At this moment in your time.
Yeah, the song was written back in October of 2019. really is just a therapeutic exercise. I'd been diagnosed with an anxiety disorder about a decade ago. And I guess back in October just felt like, as another step in the process of figuring all this out, I would love to just write a song that probably nobody else will hear. So I just attacked it like it's a letter from my anxiety to me. And it kind of helped me process my anxiety a little differently in that now I try to look at it as not myself. So I can acknowledge it and then, say, okay, I have to do this. So you just hang out over there. But yeah, the decision to release it was tough. But once that decision was made, it was actually a lot of fun and pretty easy and kind of freeing, I think, just to, share that little aspect of myself, I guess.
And it elicits a really emotional response. Like even listening to it back, like over and over, it's so, personal and it's so reflective. And it's also in the sense that it relates to a lot of us. Like all of us go through the same sort of motions you've been going through. And, what do you want fans to take away from a song like that?
Kind of whatever they want. I think I have a tendency as a writer to write somewhat ambiguously, which always makes discussing what the song is about from the songwriter standpoint always a little weird. But I try to write them ambiguously enough to where people can find whatever they want in them. Because I'm a believer, like if somebody's connecting to the song, like far be it for me to impede that process.
Mm-hmm. And is it too soon to ask that? Is it part of a bigger release, like a new album or an EP coming out?
The goal's an EP. I've got a couple other songs in the can that we're just kind of sitting on right now. Another side effect of everything going on is it's kind of been tough to get into a studio and track these things properly. So the hope is to start doing that. I hate using the word soon because it's kind of open-ended, but soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. There's no time frame for it right now, unfortunately. But yeah, the goal is to put out a bigger collection.
So has there been any like really big challenges with trying to produce your own music at home since like you can't go into a studio and well, Red String Blue, I was fortunate. I got into the studio right before everything kind of shut down. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think so far I've got another song. At least one that I definitely want to cut. Mm-hmm. And that's been a challenge, just, trying to get into a studio and make sure that everybody's safe. We're certainly operating under the guise of like better safe or better wrong and safe than wrong and sick. So, right.
I don't know when we'll be able to get back in. I hope soon.
I hope soon too. Like I feel like it's been so long. It feels like a million years, but it's literally only been like 3 or 4 months maybe now, like since lockdown.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And it's just such a wild time. And, we're having a lot of things going on in the world, like there's a lot happening. Have you found any of that to maybe transfer or kind of like move into the way you want to songwrite and you want to make music?
Not so much in how I want to. I'd be hard pressed to think that what's going on in the world, both with the pandemic and with these social justice initiatives and conversations that are extremely long overdue. I'd be hard pressed to think that stuff is not infiltrating into my songwriting, even subconsciously. I do notice that a lot of the songs I've been writing lately are more about isolation and stuff like that. So, I think, that's kind of the role, is to internalize and take in the world around you as it currently exists and try to put that on the page. So, I can't think of a specific instance other than broad overarching themes, but.
Mm-hmm. And, you've been obviously doing a little bit of online shows with Stage It, which fans are loving. And you did a cover of Shallow, which was like so beautiful. And it was so wonderful. And all the fans were loving it. And I was talking to a friend of mine and she told me that there's now like rumors going on that, you're going to make a covers album. Is that something you There's like
So I do Q&As during these, and somebody asked if I would ever consider doing a covers album.
okay.
And I'm historically I've been very against it, just because you know. But what about my originals? But yeah, I think as I've gotten a little bit more comfortable in my own skin, the idea of doing something like that seems a little more appealing. Especially, I think having a little bit more. Maybe confidence is the word in my ability to kind of make them my own. So,
you did.
Yeah, I think there's nothing imminent by any stretch, but I'm growing more open to the idea.
Yeah, you did such a great job with Idol. Like, taking it back 12 years, like just for a second, like, you changed like Mariah Carey's song and made it your own. And that was like when I think everyone was like, this guy is going to win it, So I feel like you can do anything, David. And that was like something that, fans, they love you and they adore you. And I think there's like that really solid belief that we know you can do anything.
Thank you. I it's so funny looking back on it now. Because at the time it was a survival instinct. It was like, okay, let's see. We got Carly Smithson. We got David Archuleta. We got Staisha Mercado. We've got Jason Castro, Brooke White, Michael Johnson. I feel like all these people are able to just sing circles around me. So what do I have that I could use to kind of differentiate myself? And I was fortunate that I'd had 10 years in a band prior and had a sense of where I sat on the musical spectrum. But yeah, I mean, there were weeks where I was just like, oh God, like they told us Mariah Carey week was coming. And I was just like, well, that's the week I'm going home because I got nothing. It just, yeah, I think them being receptive to me kind of bending these songs to my will a little bit was huge, because they could have very easily said, don't do that. Just sing it the way that it was written,
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't by some grand design. It was literally just like, if I don't do this, I'm going to go home. So.
And, one of the things that, you talked about earlier also is, you're not being able to be in a live audience with fans. And, I noticed that I was at your Toronto show, it was like, I think maybe 2 years ago, I think when you were at the Horseshoe Tavern.
Yeah.
And, that was such a great show. And you feed off the crowd, and like, how is that now feeling like, how does it feel? Because you're doing the stage at shows, and then, it's so different from being online, like to being in person with people. How does that feel for you as an artist? It's very different.
It's pretty sterile. I think just you don't realize how much you enjoy that immediate feedback, really. And it's like the comments will show up like 20 seconds late. So you just have to finish the song and then like kill time for about 20 seconds before somebody goes, that was great, or that sucked. And yeah, I think it's certainly different. But in lieu of nothing, I'll take, if it's between nothing and doing stages, I'll do stages. I think just the ability to put yourself out there like that is huge. And to think that wasn't something that necessarily existed when I was on Idol, which is nuts. But yeah, it's been a good change of pace for sure.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to like look at the tour dates? Or are you guys evaluating like when you want to go back on the road? Because
yeah,
we're really going out right now.
Yeah, no, we're it's like an every other day email chain at this point. Yeah, I don't know when we're going to get back out. I know we've got stuff scheduled in August. I'm hoping that sticks, but as we get closer, it feels less likely. And then stuff in the fall, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm hopeful I get to play a show in public this year, but it may be 2021, and that's got to be okay. I would hate to jump out there before it's time and somebody gets sick and then get somebody else sick. And I mean, you see just how serious this all is. So
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think people are actually, evaluating the severity of how serious this really is. Like it's difficult. I think
I was having a conversation about this the other day, and it's just, if it's not happening immediately around you, sometimes it's kind of human nature to ignore it, and sadly, by the time it gets around you, it's kind of already too late. So, I don't know what the magic pill is, but hopefully we can all figure this out and get past this, because it's definitely lingering. I think that's plainly seen.
So you've been living in Nashville for a while now. What's that been like for your music and your songwriting? How has that helped? Like, has it been any influential, elements to your songwriting?
I think I think moving here kind of tuned me into the idea, like, some of the best storytellers in the world are here in Nashville. I think the narrative style of songwriting exists here in more plentiful supply than, dare I say, anywhere else. I've certainly tuned into that, maybe a little more abstractly than most, but I do feel like my songs have strayed more towards the narrative format since I got here. And really, it's kind of opened me up to expanding the sounds and the influences that I bring in. I think when I was out in LA, I was in my 20s, came from a rock background, and was like, it's gotta be rock all the time. And kind of, fought that upstream for a while. And I think getting here and finding myself a little more has allowed me to kind of take the peripherals off and open up a little more, especially like with newer stuff where I've been able to incorporate more synth, more programming, more pop elements, more indie elements, and try to concoct something that feels a little more fully realized as me.
You talk about your rock background, and, I loved Analog Heart. I listen to that all the time. It's still one of my favorite albums. And, you were also in Midwest Kings too. And I'm wondering, like, is there anything from your older catalog you would like to maybe revisit and, do acoustically or change the arrangement? Like, Taylor Swift is, taking her music and she's going to rearrange it.
Sure.
Is there anything that you've ever been curious to be like, I want to try it this way, or I wonder what it'd be like this way?
Not so much acoustic. I've always thought about it in the context of, like, orchestral. I always think back to being, a rock fan. I always think when Metallica did that orchestral album, and always wondering if the resources were there and the time was there, how would that sound superimposed over my stuff? And
right.
But yeah, that would involve quite a few people in a very small space.
Right.
So,
a lot of people.
Yeah, I think there's something intriguing there for me. Whether or not I'm able or willing to chase that down at some point, I don't know. But I don't know.
Is there a song in particular that you're thinking of that you want to do that with?
I would love to do Permanent in a live setting with an actual orchestra. I've never done that aside from recording it in a live setting. So, it would be heavy, but it would be interesting for sure.
And, you've been in this industry obviously for a while. Has the motivation as an artist, changed from when you first started to now?
I think so. Yeah, I think before it was, I just had a different definition of success. I think now, for me, I've been asked quite a bit recently, actually, like what else do I want to do, and really it just comes into the creative process. Anything that I can do that will pay the bills and allow me to live in a creative space, I'll consider. That's kind of where Kinky Boots and Broadway came from. Was just, it's a creative opportunity. It's something completely different, which I think at that point I absolutely needed, because music was kind of burning me out a little bit. And yes, I think that's the goal for me now, is just double down on the creative process. Do whatever you got to do to make it work, and let everything fall where it's going to fall.
So when Broadway opens up again, and they come calling, would you want to take up the opportunity and do another play? Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I cannot say enough good things about that process and about that show, Kinky Boots, and about the people associated with that show. It was such a breath of fresh air to share a stage and tell a story and be a cog in the wheel, really, and to not feel like that was my burden alone, I guess, to tell a story, and especially like in this climate, to be able to tell a story of inclusion and acceptance and love, and that was huge. Yeah, no, I would welcome that opportunity again. Absolutely.
Yeah, I know a lot of the fans would want to see that again. And, I think it was not a very long run. I think it was was it a month? Was it? Or?
So I did I did 2 runs in 2018. My first one was 5 weeks, which is pretty short. And then my second one was like 2 months, maybe 3. Yeah.
Okay. So hopefully we can see you do that again, because I know that everyone loved that. And this time I would love to come out to Broadway and see you on the show, because everyone had the rave reviews and everything. So
it's a different beast for sure. Yeah. I think the biggest challenge for me was getting over the mental hurdle of I got to do 8 shows a week. Yeah. Because for me on the road, like playing my own stuff, like 3, maybe 4 shows max, and I'm kind of burnt and need a day off. Yeah. Yeah, there's just, I remember like if I can just get to another Monday, which was like our dark day, I'll maybe I can make it through another week. And it's just, it's such a grueling schedule, but fun at the same time, which is, again, without fun, like I don't want to do this. So, yeah, man, I would, in a heartbeat, I would do that. Yeah.
So, segueing sort of into fun, Idol, that was a whole chain of experience and like fun, I'm sure it was. Season 7 was a sentimental one for me. I made a lot of friends from that season. They're still my best friends today. I actually grew close to Brooke and Carly and Michael. And, and the thing is that the season, like all the fan base, like what do you have to say about the fan base that still, they still love you, they still follow you? Like how is it? I'm sure that's humbling and that's so inspiring too.
Yeah, that's kind of always, that was the first goal I ever really had, was like get some fans,
Yeah.
And they have been so fervent and loyal. You brought up Broadway. That was 10 years after Idol, and they kept people coming to multiple shows. I'm just like, it's the same story, nothing changed, and these stage it shows, they turn out. It's yeah, I don't know. We don't have enough time for me to get fully into it. But it's extremely humbling to get to do what I'm doing. Yeah. This long afterwards, for sure.
Yeah, and it's like, I still talk to a lot of the fans from Idol, and they're still all your fans too. And, it's so crazy how it's like we also like kind of look at each other like it's kind of like, strumming your fingers through the pages of a book, like a really good book. It kind of feels like we have all this history and we love it, and we all kind of carried on with us. So, for me to see you flourish and blossom, it's just something that all of us are so proud of, and we're just so excited and always excited to see what you're up to, so that's also fun. I do want to talk about the Idol contestants that you were on with. Do you get to keep in touch with them? I know that Archie is in Nashville.
Actually, quite a few of us are in Nashville. It's
they are? Okay.
Most of us are kind of congregated here. I do talk to Archie. It's been a minute. I need to call him actually, but
maybe after this.
I talk to Brooke White over Instagram every now and again, just touching base. I talked to Ramio once in a blue moon. But everybody's kind of like, we're all grown up now.
Yeah.
And we don't talk as much as I wish we would. But, I talk to Chris Allen fairly regularly. I talk to Daughtry. Daughtry lives out here now too.
Yeah.
Melinda Doolittle. I'm sure there's people I'm forgetting that are going to be mad at me that I'm forgetting. But yeah, we it's this weird kind of fraternity.
It's a fun fraternity. Do you get to talk to the judges, or you get to keep in touch with them?
I don't. I think the last time I talked to any of them was Paula at the Fox finale, which was 2016. Right?
That was a while ago.
That was kind of the last time I really talked to a judge.
So also Idol has received a little bit of flack for, the format, and, they really compared a lot to The Voice. Do you think that assessment is fair to compare the two? And what do you think about how the show looks like now?
I think, I'm trying to think of how to say this diplomatically. I think when Idol is at its best, it is a platform for the American public to invest in these contestants so that when they come off the show, these people continue to want to follow them. I think when these shows are not at their best, is when the focus is on who's on the judges panel, what are they saying to each other, where's the backstage drama, da 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 da.
Right.
And I get it. It's a TV show, and you're trying to get people to tune in. I completely understand that. I don't begrudge it. But I do feel like one of the things that season 7 benefited from was a full-throated attempt to let the contestants be the narrative and let the American public get to know us. It's a bummer to not see that as much as in years past. Although I will say this latest season, I did kind of appreciate the at-home format a little bit, just because I felt like even if it's a background visual of their home, it's giving the viewing public a little bit of insight into who these people are, and that. I liked that. I would love to see not so much more of them performing at home, but more of that opportunity to invest in them as people,
Yeah. And it was so different from when you guys were on Idol to now. Like social media, is it like social media was not around really when you guys were on? So has it been weird to not have was it weird not having social media back then to kind of elevate yourself, or compared to now where it's like, people can just follow you in a second and you get like 10 votes. Even the voting system is different now too. So it's just, I
think it's easier now. I feel like music in general it kind of mirrors the social media space in that it's to follow somebody's extremely easy. So it's easy to have somebody listen to you. It's extremely difficult to be heard just because it is so easy to just listen to everything. I think social media is, if you're paying attention to what you're following, great, but you don't necessarily have to. And some of these formats, like with their algorithms, you're not even seeing the latest posts or anything like that. It's all kind of like, oh, here's a greatest hits of what you missed the last time you logged in 10 minutes ago.
Right.
So yeah, I have a weird relationship with social media in that I don't adhere to it the way some do. And that's just for my own mental health, really, because I still remember. This didn't bother me. I thought it was cute and funny. The video of the Archie fans. He doesn't even shave. I love that video so much. But if I had to hear that all day, every day for 10 years, I'd probably go nuts.
Right.
So Yeah, I think it's beneficial now because you can kind of connect with people and tune in a way that is more necessary now because we can't go out on the road. But yeah, social media and I are still sort of odd bedfellows.
Mm-hmm. And season 4 of Idol on ABC just got renewed, but they have not renewed the contracts for Katy Perry, Luke Bryan, Lionel Richie, and even Ryan. So do you think Ryan will come back? Hard to tell.
I mean, I don't talk to Ryan, so I don't know, but I would think the money would have to be right. And that probably means a pay increase. So
works a lot. Like he's
money talks. He works constantly. Even back in season 7, he was probably pulling 20 hours a day every day. And seemed fine. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know what that dude does.
I don't know what he's on, but it's like Red Bull.
It must be one hell of a multivitamin. So,
right?
I don't think the work would keep him away. I think it would probably be a dollar figure.
And if the judges are up in the air, is there any 3 judges that you would like to see, kind of give, motivation and, advice to the new generation of Idol?
I don't know. That's a great question.
Do you think the 3 right now are effective as effective as Simon, Randy, and Paula in their feedback?
Oh God, that's a loaded question. Well,
we have time.
I am biased towards Simon, Paula, and Randy, so I'm going to say no, and that's not a slight to the current 3. Yeah, I think I would find it hard in that to have a current viable career and feel like I could unabashedly give my opinion of other performers, only because anybody who's a fan of that performer is automatically going to look at you as the enemy. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of it the wrong way, but I kind of appreciated that. I felt like whatever advice or criticism or praise I was getting from the judges panel when I was on was unfiltered because this was kind of what they were doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get it. And do you still get to watch, do you watch a lot of reality TV? Do you watch the reality TV music competitions?
I don't a lot. A lot of what I watch anymore is, I'm trying to think of the last thing I really dove into. I just rewatched House for the 3rd time. Yeah. I tend to I jump on bandwagons really late. I got into House when it was season 4, and I was like, you guys, you got to see this show, and they're like, we know.
Yeah.
And then I just watched that Bulls documentary that was on ESPN. Past that, yeah, I watch a lot of comedy specials. I don't know. I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to what's going on in the moment, which is
at least if you're binging stuff everyone's been binging during quarantine, so it's so important just to kind of take it easy and just watch what you want to watch.
Yeah, well, it's like if you watch something that's current, invariably you gotta know what's going on. Yeah, out in the world, and right now the world seems very strange.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I recommend.
The less of that I have to internalize, probably the better I am mentally.
Yeah, you have to take it easy, and also I rewatched I think The Office twice during quarantine. It's so good.
Telling you, yeah,
it's good. You have to keep yourself light and airy, I guess. David, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. You are such an awesome person, and thank you so much for taking time. And we really want to see more music from you. We want to hear more music from you. So.
Right on. Thank you so much for making the time. I appreciate it.
Of course.